welcome back to my nail corner. We're late, but we're here. I had planned to upload last week and didn't get around to it. I'll get into that in a minute, but I'm here. So I'm going to do a little bit of prep on my right hand right now, which is the hand we're doing the mani on. I know it's been a minute since I did a right hand mani. I like to film my left hand because I am right-handed, and so it's easier to do all of the things. But yeah, this one we're going to do my right hand because I decided to go ahead and dip over my natural nails and show you guys a little bit of a prep routine. I often don't do much in the way of prep because I'm usually dipping over builder gel, but I love these glass cuticle pushers for prep. So they do a really nice job of kind of exfoliating the top of the nail. You're not seeing a lot come off of my natural nails because I had just removed that builder gel the same day, and so I really had kind of cleaned everything up. But this is what I like to do with a glass cuticle pusher. It just pushes off any of that invisible cuticle that's on the surface of the nail plate, and that's what you really want to do to avoid lifting. And then I just use rubbing alcohol and a lint-free wipe to kind of clean off the nail surface and any dust or invisible cuticle that I have just created on the nail surface. So when you're dipping on your natural nails, that removing that kind of invisible cuticle that's on your nail plate is incredibly important to prevent as much lifting as possible. So make sure you have that in your routine if you don't already. Now, prep for me is kind of useless because I go in with peel off base coat. Because I create content on YouTube and do my nails fairly regularly, I use a peel off base coat, and that helps me with removal because then I don't have to soak in acetone at length. Now, if you want a long lasting mani with dip powder, do not use peel off base coat. On my natural nails, I probably get a day, maybe two, if I'm really not being very active in like dishwater and things like that. But that's about it when I have peel base on my natural nails. Over builder gel, however, for whatever reason, I can't really speak to why, but for me, my experience is I can get like almost a week sometimes out of my dip powder over my builder gel. So that's my typical routine, is to keep a builder gel overlay on my natural nails, which actually helps them like stay protected when I don't have dip powder on and lets them grow out a bit. But also it does, for whatever reason, allow me to keep my dip powder on longer. So that is the UNT peel off base coat. It's my go-to. I let it dry for 5 to 7 minutes. I used to really rush that process because it dries down pretty darn fast, and then I would go right into dipping. This is the Revel Sensitive Liquid base coat. It's my go-to now because it really prevents me from having any dip flu, which thrills my soul because who wants to feel like they have a cold after doing their nails? I did that for a long time, and honestly I was like, worth it, but it is so nice to have a solution to not have that. These dips are from West Coast Dips. They are a Canadian brand, actually close to where I live in the Pacific Northwest, right across the Canadian border. I love all of her products, and so you should definitely check them out if you haven't already. And remember that if you are in the US, to pay attention because the prices, when you open the website, I think you can click like US dollars or Canadian. And so if you click that, you'll get it in our currency. The prices in our currency. So anyway, I'm going to go in with this nice dark blue, like navy solid. And then I also have that precision cleanup tool from West Coast Dips, and I'm going to use that to clean up around my cuticle line. So while I go ahead and dip, I'm going to finish what I was just saying about peel off base coat. I used to really rush right into dipping and it was no problem, but what I have found with using the sensitive liquids from Revel is that I need to let the peel off base coat dry longer. So it might seem dry and like not even tacky to the touch, but if I go in with my first layer of dip base too soon, and then I get a patchy first layer of dip powder. It's not a huge problem because I find that then when I go in with my second coat, it kind of all evens out. But I prefer to have it like a pretty full first layer as well. Like I said, it doesn't make too much difference if I happen to go in too soon. You know, everything kind of evens out in the end, but I just wanted to let you know that in advance. And I've had that experience with some other peel off base coats that I've used, that I have to let them dry down for much longer. Otherwise, no matter what liquids I use, when I go in with my first dip, it's like patchy, especially around the edges. So mostly around my sidewalls and maybe the cuticle line. But if I give the UNT peel base a little bit longer to dry in combination with the Revel liquids, I'm not having that problem. That being said, like, I hope I'm explaining it well. When I used UNT and wasn't using the sensitive dip liquids, I never had that problem. Like, it could just barely be dry enough and I could go in with my dip liquids and it would do fine. So something about the sensitive liquids reacts to the peel off base coat, and sometimes it's causing it, I guess, the dip base to dry more rapidly on the nail, and so therefore it doesn't adhere the dip fully to the whole nail. I hope that makes sense. I probably should have like done an example and let that mishap happen on camera. Maybe I will sometime in the future for you guys to see and understand what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to give that tip if you are trying out the Revel sensitive liquids and you do use a peel off base coat and you're having that experience. I just wanted to give you that tip to let your peel base dry a little bit longer. Hopefully you have a little bit more patience than I do, because I truly hate the 5 to 7 minutes I have to just sit and wait for my hand to dry, because it's kind of like going back to the nail polish days, right? I can't do anything. I'm just stuck sitting there. So anyway, all that to say, we are going in with our second layer of dip. This is a gorgeous navy. I believe it's called Valerie, which is actually, I love this because it goes right in theme with my mani. So I did this mani a couple weeks ago, actually almost a month ago, not gonna lie. And it was for the week of my mom's birthday. Now, if you've been around for a minute, then you may have seen prior videos that I did around my mom's birthday. This dip is called Valerie, which is actually the name of West Coast Dips, the shop owner, her mom. So Jolene named this Valerie after her mom. And there was a coordinating dark navy background with flakes in it. Like, I think if I remember correctly, they're like pink and maybe like silvery or gold, maybe champagne flakes in it. I have used it in a prior video, but it's been a little while. Anyway, it's very fitting for this because, like I said, I did this mani in honor of my mom's birthday. My mom was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, 8 years ago now. And when she was diagnosed, it was too far along. It had spread everywhere. She was already very symptomatic. We just didn't know what was going on. She had seen a doctor maybe 6 months prior to her diagnosis, and they just missed it. They didn't send her for any tests or anything, and they had said it was probably like IBS, and so she was modifying her diet and doing all these things and just continuing to get worse. And then they finally did some tests and caught it, and it was way too far along. So we were told by the oncologist when they finally found it that we would have 6 months with her without treatment, and that if she did like every other week treatment for or chemo treatment for the cancer, that we might have her for 2 years. And I mean, the thought of watching somebody go through that just to add some more kind of length of suffering to their life just doesn't seem fair. We all knew, and she knew, that she didn't want to go through treatment. So we ended up with 6 months and 2 days with my mom, and she passed away 7.5 years ago now. So her birthstone, being a September baby, is Sapphire. So I have that sapphire ring on my hand, and I tend to pull it out of my jewelry box and really rock it for this season. It just makes me think of her all the more. And then I also like to do, if time allows, a kind of sapphire themed mani around that time. So this was the mani I wore for my mom's birthday week this year. So Valerie is the solid blue, and then we are going in with I think this is called Daisy Dukes, which is kind of fun because it really is. It's like a really sparkly denim jeans kind of situation. So I'm going to go ahead and do a glitter tip on those two nails that are bare right now. And I am using Frenchie, and that is a triple D color for the base of my glitter nails. It's probably my favorite sheer pink out there for doing like a either a French tip or an ombre tip or whatever. It just gives you that ever so slight pink hue. You can just use clear for this if you prefer that, but I just really like to add that little bit of pink to it. And so this, like I said, is Frenchie from Triple D. So before we get in on that, I am going to go ahead and, as you can see, brush off the excess clear dip from my solid nails and activate those. So this is another thing about the sensitive liquids that I've experienced. Because they are so slow drying, it's kind of made me adjust my routine a little bit. So before I'm going in for those accent nails, I am activating the solid ones, because then by the time I'm done with the glitter ombre, my solid nails will be completely activated and ready for filing. Now, I don't know why it took me so long, because I've been using the sensitive liquids for, I don't know, probably 6 months now, I would imagine. But anyway, I've been using the base and the activator. Well, I think the dip base is really the culprit for dip flu. So like I said, I don't know why it took me so long, but in the next video you'll see I've switched to using other activators, just regular activators that I have on hand. One of my favorites is from Gigi's Custom Dips, which is also a Canadian brand, but I don't know what it is, but that activator just hardens up the dip powder like almost instantly. The very first time I used it, I did record a video when I used her liquids for the first time, and I was just like stunned at how quickly it hardened, because I always do like a double pass with my activator, so I do like 2 coats just to make sure it's cured. But after the first coat, like I could feel it had hardened, and it just blew my mind. So anyway, all that to say, you can use the sensitive dip liquids, the dip base, and then any other activator you want. So fortunately, the Revel website has the dip base available to purchase individually. I know for sure because I was just on there last night, because I need to restock. I like to always have a backup on hand, and I don't currently. So you could just get the sensitive dip base if you have other liquids on hand that you want to use up the activator for. If you have a gel top coat that you like already, you don't have to buy the set of dip base, activator, and top coat, or gel. I think they call it their sensitive gel top coat. But anyway, you can go with other liquids you have on hand and mix and match, and that works out really nicely, so you can use up what you already have. So I'm jabbering on, but right now I'm doing that ombre tip. I am just using I think it's an eyeshadow brush. The brand is Wet n Wild, and it's just from Amazon, and they're like $1. And I've had the same ones for years. I use a color switch, which is also available on Amazon. All this stuff should be linked in my storefront down below, my Amazon storefront, if you want to check it out. And so I just rub the brushes on the color switch and put them back in my jar. And I've been using the same ones for years and years and years. So you just dip it in the glitter, tap, tap, tap it over the nail where you want it. And then you want to use a spoon or a scoop or something to pour over whatever base you want to use, whether that's clear or like a sheer pink like I'm using. You don't want to dip into it because you're going to get that glitter into your solid, so you don't want to contaminate that. So it seems like it wastes a little bit of powder, right? Because you're pouring it over the nail with a spoon and maybe there's going to be excess, but trust me, you're going to be much better off than contaminating your whole jar of a solid color by dipping that glitter nail into it. So definitely get like a little scoop. You could use, if you have a swatch stick, just anything to kind of pour over that kind of base color. So that is what we're doing there. And then after you do any design kind of like this, whether you do a glitter tip, an ombre, stamp it, just anything that you're going to put on the nail that you don't want to file off, you're going to want to encapsulate in clear. My practice is to encapsulate everything in clear, whether it's a solid nail or a glitter nail or whatever it is, because it just protects what you just put on your nail when you go to file and shape and buff and all of those things. One of the big reasons I like to put clear over everything is when you use your activator brush is only ever coming in contact with clear. And so it keeps your activator nice and clear. It doesn't get glitters in it. It doesn't get pigment in it. It just really keeps your activator from contaminating any future mani because it stays really clear. So you can see what I'm doing here. Instead of tapping on all the way, I kind of dipped the tip into that glitter. It kind of makes it a little more dense at the tip coverage, and then sparsely kind of sprinkling some of those glitters on lower. So this look obviously is very customizable. It's not anything specific. You can do whatever you want, however you like it. You can put as much glitter on as far down the nail as you want or as little. I love the pictures I see of little like micro French tips. So just like the tiniest whatever, whether you go with white or a glitter or a solid color, just the tiniest little French tip on short little nails. I think it's so cute, and I think I want to do that soon. So stay tuned if I get myself back into a French look. But hang in there, I'll be right back. I just got to clear my throat. Okay, sorry about that. I hope I'm not getting my daughter's cold. I feel fine, but my little one has a cold and we're all like, oh, is my throat sore? Am I sneezing too much? What's happening? So as you can see, I took a break not a break, but I took a minute from recording while I went and clear coated those two glitter nails, but I also went ahead and did the matching mani on my left hand. So like I said in my last video, I've been doing kind of matching or at least coordinating hands and keeping the dip powder on for about a week. So I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera, and now I am going in with my gel base. These gels are from West Coast Dips as well, and I have nothing but wonderful things to say about her gel liquids. They apply really smoothly. They're really nice and thin but not runny, so they don't add a bunch of bulk to the mani that you've just created. But if you are finishing up a dip powder mani using a gel top coat, I highly, highly recommend that you use a gel base first. That is going to help your gel top coat adhere. So a gel top coat does not like to adhere to a smooth surface like buffed dip powder. It likes something tacky to kind of hold it on. And so gel base leaves a tacky layer on the surface, and then that gel top coat is going to stick and it's not going to peel or anything like that. So if you're having gel top coat issues over dip powder and that is peeling up, please, please, please try using a gel base before you give up on that like extra glossy finish that you get from a gel top coat over dip powder. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and finish up, and then you want to cure your gel base for 30 seconds before you go in with your gel top coat. And then for this mani on my right hand, I decided to mix it up a little bit, and I am going to mix and match. So I'm going to do a glossy top coat over those glitter nails, and I'm going to use a matte top coat over my solid nails. I liked the mix of finishes. It was kind of just a fun mix up because I did my left hand all glossy, so I could see and you could see what that looked like that way, and then I did the little mix and match with the matte top coat. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up and then pop back in here to wrap this up. right, we are all cured, and this is what that mani looks like with the matte and glossy mix. I'm going to finish up with cuticle oil like I always do. This is from Triple D, and I love it so much. So this is the mani that I wore for my mom's birthday week, and my next upload should be the mani I wore for my birthday week, which was actually last week. My birthday is October 11th, and I had planned to get this edited and uploaded last week, and then my week in the best way just kind of got flipped upside down. I had lots of kind of surprise birthday things, and my husband took my birthday off, and the kids made me breakfast in bed, and I just got spoiled all day. So I kind of took the day, at least for my birthday, to just kind of chill, but had kind of surprises throughout the week that were just made me feel so special. So that was really fun, but I do have my birthday week mani recorded. It was just the kind of like, what mani do I feel most comfortable in and love the most? And so that'll be coming up hopefully next week for you guys. But this was in honor of my sweet mama, who I lost when she was 59 and I was 30. And so this made me feel close to her with my Sapphire themed mani for her birthday. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.